Back to you, Ross.
I think the biggest issue that I have with this is you're already playing by, and tell me if you guys agree with me, you're already playing by so many rules as a content creator by what you can actually share on YouTube, and now dealing with the same thing, DMCAs on Twitch. You're already kind of limited in a sense. I think my biggest issue with MCNs is they now have complete control of your content. And one of the things that I've always lived by, especially with my social media stuff, is you have to own your own content. It's very, very, very important for your in game to own and have complete control over your content. Am I out of line or stretching it a little bit?
I mean, there's the things you got to consider whenever you're signing an agreement. I mean, you are signing a legally binding agreement. In the beginning of this, creators were getting these agreements and they were signing them without reading it. Mm-hmm. And then they were coming back. They were actually not reading this. They wanted into MCN so badly that they actually signed without reading it. And they had no idea what they were signing. To their complete, surprise Pikachu face, they were giving away 40% of the revenue, and they didn't even know because they didn't read the agreement, because they were young creators and a lot of them are gamers and they don't like to read. They're just, oh, this is what everybody else is doing. Cool, I'll sign it. Sounds good. Now I'm going to be a successful creator, right? Wrong. Now you're going to lose all your money. So read. The moral of the story is don't be those early on creators. Learn from their mistakes.
Get a lawyer.
The agreement. Get a lawyer to review it. But also you need to be thinking of it in a long-term capacity, because these contracts are almost yearly binding or multi-year binding agreements. So when you sign away, it's not like you can bail out in a month if you don't like it. You're locked in normally for multiple years. There, as AWOL is saying, I mean, there is no pressure anymore to do this. Back, 8 years ago, creators felt tons of pressure from just the creator, industry to be a part of this. But there is no pressure now, because you don't necessarily, actually, I won't even say you don't necessarily, you don't need to have these agencies. You don't need to have their support, but it could be valuable for you in certain circumstances. So maybe it's an option you can explore, but you shouldn't feel pressured to sign ever. And if you ever are feeling pressured, always get a legal opinion first. Even if you got to hire a lawyer really, really quick off LegalZoom or something, at least get some lawyer's opinion.
Get somebody,
Get somebody who has some sort of legal expertise to help you with it. But don't feel pressured, because so many creators made that mistake that really probably destroyed their creator career really early on, just by making a poor business decision. And I tell you what, they tried to fight. A lot of those smaller creators tried to fight it in the beginning, and they all lost. I mean, you can't really fight versus the large corporations here. The most of these groups are. Now, there are a lot more boutique ones now as well that might be a little bit safer, but some of the bigger MCNs, I mean, they're just going to have more money to fight these, and you signed the legal agreement. There's not really much you can do after the fact, after you've already signed it, if you didn't read the fine print. So be careful. Be very, very careful when you're reading them, and understand that what they're going to write on paper to what you're going to get, you're probably really going to get maybe 50% of that, because they're padding and marketing to you this deal. So a lot of what they're putting on that deal, those line items for each thing you're going to get, they should already be giving to you without it being a line item. And
well, Twitch does that, right? When they talked about affiliate, and they're going to give you transcoding as a benefit, the ability to play in different video qualities. So that's just it's just a check mark and a pitch deck is what you're talking about. It's not a lie, but it's a check mark and a pitch deck to make it feel like there's value that there's not really.
Exactly. You got to understand that there's marketers thinking about this, like us, and they're thinking about, okay, how are we selling this and making them want to buy, specifically sciencing it, put many line items that sound great, but in reality, if you actually think about them in reality, what they would actually be like, it wouldn't be nearly as much value as you're perceiving at that particular moment. So just be wary of how you're being marketed to as well. And you're most likely going to be oversold and underdelivered in almost every case. Sorry,
so no, you're good. This follows right up. Would you guys be willing to use the phrase purposely misleading?
Well, I would say that it's for me, I'll answer it first and you can say whatever you want to say on this, but I would say that this is having worked for many companies and corporations. This is standard practice in sales. You have the big things that are truly valuable to the customer that you put at the top of the pitch. Here's you have this challenge, customer. Here's the big solution you want. There's the hook. Oh, and then when you sign, you also get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Look at all that value. But at the end of the day, the thing they hooked you with is probably the thing that's actually beneficial to you, and the rest of it is just sales padding. So this isn't just the agency world or the management world or the MCN world. This is like any services-based business is going to pad their sale to you and make it look more make it look more valuable. We just did an episode on Twitch where they like are selling Twitch affiliate. They're selling transcoding, the ability to watch in like 720p and 1080p. Whoa! The ability to upload VODs to your channel. Wow, what a benefit. Wow, being able to put a trailer on your own Twitch channel. Oh my God, what an incredible value. So they like every company who's offering a service in exchange for you signing a contract is going to pad it. Even when you sign up for your cell phone service, you're going to be like, all you really want is the phone with the data plan and the ability to call people, right? But they're going to pad it with 90 days of Disney Plus, and they're going to throw in a free copy of some old video game or whatever it is to get you to sign. Standard sales practice. And it's all about seeing over time and getting business acumen to be able to ID this stuff so you don't get emotional when you make those decisions and you just say like, wow, look at all the pretty lights. I'm going to sign because it looks so legit. You really have to look at through all those line items and see, is this one valuable or nothing? Is this one valuable or nothing? You know what I mean? Like Perrin's really good at dissecting that stuff and figuring out this is actually garbage. Like almost all of this is garbage, but a couple things, right, Perrin?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's misleading the way that these strategies work. Normally they're technically true. Like if you look at them, they're technically true, but you have to look at them in a way like they're piling up line items to give you like this wow factor. When really a lot of those line items, if you to break them out individually and look at each one individually, not very valuable at all. Not worth 10,000 a year or whatever, you know, if you're making 100 grand a year or something like that, like not worth a 10% cut. So yeah, it's a marketing practice you're not going to get away from. I don't think it's necessarily a scummy marketing practice because it's technically true. And that's kind of how marketing works in general. It's just up to the consumer to actually really critically think about what they're being sold.